Welcome to the class this morning. For some of you practicing perhaps a completely different time of the day, still welcome. I've only prepared my usual block and a blanket. You might have a bolster nearby for relaxation or anything else that you might need. Now, we will begin lying down on the backs today, so please make your way there. You can be quite comfortable, but perhaps leaving out bolsters or cushions underneath the knees. So as you lie down, you could choose to extend your legs out, or you might have your knees bent and your feet down on the floor. Take a moment to actually settle into that space. There's no need to rush yourself onto the floor. I hope if you choose to just gently lift the head for a moment, that you can see the hand gesture or mudra that you might choose to work with. So it would be the backs of your hands resting on the ground by the side and then folding the ring finger into the palm of the hand and placing your thumb on top. So the finger actually stays touching towards the palm. The other fingers will naturally extend. So it is the ring finger folding in and the thumb on top, and then placing your hands down in a relaxed way. This is called Surya mudra, and Surya in English means the sun. So while the sun at this time of year could potentially be hiding, we're using the energy of the sun rather than the sun itself. And if you're holding the mudra already, you might feel that there's a gentle shift of energy. Now, why this mudra? It can help to enhance a sense of radiant energy within our minds and bodies. It can build a sense of self-esteem. It might also help to clarify your purpose, the purpose in this life. And as a welcome side effect, it also if the word comes out, assists our digestive system. So hence, this mudra is also associated to the solar plexus, Manipura chakra. I sometimes call that our power center. So allowing for a moment to tune in with the hand gesture. Perhaps you notice a sense of energy coming from hand gesture, Surya mudra. Center lying above the navel. And you might choose to start breathing into this center. This might naturally occur without controlling it. And if it feels right, you could visualize the color yellow, yellow light, as you breathe into the center. The yellow light perhaps spreading, extending perhaps over time into the body, as does its energy. You might keep the deeper flow of your breath. If your lower back enjoys support, you might have your knees bent, feet on the floor. And still, the mind's kind of coming from the solar plexus area, as you could choose on the in-breath to circle your arms out along the floor and perhaps even bring them up above the head. And when you're exhaling, circling the arms back out and bringing or returning them down to the sides of the body. You might choose to keep the mudra in your hands while you do so. A breath in to circle arms out and up over the head. And an exhale to circle them out and back down along the side of the body. So you might keep doing that for a few more breaths, using the pace of your deeper breath. But the arms are drawing these suns around you. The light and the energy comes from the solar plexus and expands now perhaps all the way into the energy field even around you. You need to modify this slightly, of course you can. Arms might be fully extended or bent. Perhaps one more round after this one. As you come to rest, you might release also the mudra, soften your hands, let the shoulders relax. And perhaps feeling this upper abdomen, Manipura area, rise and fall. This empowering energy that we might take through this practice and perhaps even beyond. If your arms are quite close down by the side, you might bring them a bit wider out to the sides, leaving the palms of the hands facing upwards, and perhaps snuggling your shoulder blades under for more comfort. Shoulders completely at ease. The head is resting heavily as you breathe in. Let it gently roll to the side. With the out breath, center the head again. On the inhale, roll it to the other side. Exhale to center. You might keep rolling the head for a few more breaths. Guarding a gentle mobilization of the spine. Getting some lymph flowing through the neck. In your next, feel in balance, turning head left and right. Let the head center. Take a deep breath, and that breath might again feel as if you're radiating out from the solar plexus into the body, beyond into the energy field. And on the out breath, the sense of relaxing. You might now bend your elbows. If your the lower and upper arms can rest on the floor, great. If not, modify that too. Making gentle fists with your hands as you breathe in. And on the out breath, releasing the fists slowly raising your arms up over the chest. The hands might come to touch, or even your forearms. On the next inhale, making soft fists again and opening the arms as if you're opening a window. And with the out breath, a very slow movement, the hands releasing, they might then touch over the chest, perhaps the elbows come close. And the in-breath again to open up with soft fists. So the movement now remains the same. On the exhale, we're opening the fists, perhaps touching palms and forearms. And on the in-breath, as we open the arms again, gentle fists. You may choose now to continue as is. Or on your next exhalation, while you continue, perhaps raising the head and the shoulders up off the floor. The breath in, then to lie back down, still the cactus arms, the soft fists. On the out breath, still touching palms and or forearms, and perhaps now lifting the head and the shoulders. As we continue this movement for a few more breaths. As you lie down, perhaps complete. Let arms soften back along the sides of the body. Take a pause. And a deep, slow breath where you feel again the upper abdomen rising, lower ribs expanding, perhaps more. And a sense of grounding, relaxation when you're exhaling. You could now bring the arms closer to the side of the body and touch the palms of the hands actively onto the mat. Starting with the right leg, keep the heel of the foot grounded, but flex the foot. And take a slow inhalation to slide the heel down the mat while holding complete stability or as much as possible in your upper body. Then point the foot, and as you breathe out, sliding the heel back up the mat, placing the foot back down onto the floor. We continue that on the same leg. So right foot is flexed, heel on the ground. As you inhale, ground your upper body, arms actively extend the leg. Point the foot, and on the out breath, sliding the foot back down. There's quite a bit of inner strength required. So on the inhale is a flexion and extending the leg. The out breath is to point and bend the knee again. One more round, just as it is, holding yourself grounded in the upper body. And then the choice to continue as it is, or as you still slide out on the inhale, keep that the same. On the exhale, bringing the knee perhaps into the chest and even giving it a loving hug and a squeeze in towards you. Releasing arms back down to gain stability, heel back to the full, foot flexed, and a breath in to slide the leg back out. That remains. Pointing the foot as you bring it in, might hug the knee towards the chest. Now you could keep the movement as it is here, or as you ground your arms, still extend on the breath in, point on the breath out, but as you hug in, could you choose to raise your nose up towards the knee? Then repeat, arms down, heel down, breathing in to extend the leg, pointing on the out breath, your variation, perhaps nose even to the knee. Last round coming up. Breath in to extend. Breath out to bend. As you rest back down this time, land the right foot onto the floor, land your arms down by the side, ready to support. But take a pause, a deep breath back into Manipura, and a breath out to perhaps find some ease. Now flexing your left ankle, heel stays on the floor, arms and hands grounding to help, keeping upper body stability. The inhale, slide the heel out all the way along the mat is available. Then point the foot, hold the stability as you breathe out, sliding the foot back onto the ground. So we stay grounded for a few rounds, inhaling to flex the foot, extending the leg out long, pointing the foot as you breathe out to land the foot onto the ground. And we continue that for 3 more breaths. As you continue to ground into the arms, the hands, using your inner strength to find the stability and steadiness, support in the upper body and your arms. For your next round, and again the heels stay grounded on the inhalation to extend the leg. The foot still points as you breathe out, but you might now bring the knee up and squeeze it in towards the chest. Then flex the foot again, land the heel and your arms, support as you inhale to extend out long. Point, and perhaps hugging the knee in towards the chest on the out breath. For the next 3 rounds, could you continue in either variation, or while you hug the knee in, raise your nose up towards the knee. Always grounding back down as you inhale to extend, and then repeat your variation. Last round coming up. Once completed, landing upper body, landing the left foot back down. Let your arms roll out into comfort. And again, take a deep breath where you feel the upper abdomen rising. And the sense of letting everything be when you breathe out. You might allow your arms to just drift out a tad bit further away from the body. That might be more supportive to keep them slightly below shoulder height. Now choosing whether you keep your feet as they are on the floor, bring them quite close to touch, or the opposite, quite wide. And then start as you breathe in to roll your knees to one side. Doesn't matter how far. And out breath to center. On the in breath, then rolling them to the other side. On the out breath to the center. Now finding your rhythm here as you roll your knees from side to side. Perhaps keeping the shoulders grounded. And if you find comfort within that movement, support is sufficient, could you also choose to gently roll the head from side to side, whether you're looking to the side of the knees or the opposite is a choice. Now, when you come into balance between the two sides, center yourself and again take a moment just to be and breathe. You might then bring both knees in towards the chest and give them a hug. If it feels good, you can roll over onto a side. If you prefer to rock your way up, that is also a choice as you come towards a seated position. Now, I will use a sitting support. Feel free to sit on the floor on a support as well. For me, currently comfortable is the seat towards the heels, but this is not essential either. So please come perhaps into an easy pose or your legs out long in front if you need to. We won't stay here for too long, but support might be lovely so that the spine can be effortlessly long. And perhaps you can rest the backs of the hands down onto your legs. If the mudra resonates, fold the ring finger back into the palm of the hand and place the thumb over the top of that finger. Eyes might remain open as you look to a spot straight ahead in front of you. Holding an upright posture and turning your eyes only to the right. Hold them there for a little while. Feel the effort within you. Then bring the eyes back to the center. Notice the muscles around your eyes working and relaxing. And again, hold your posture and now roll your eyes to the left and hold them there. And bringing them back into the center. Now perhaps gently closing the eyes for a moment. Notice if this eye movement did anything for you and what that might be. You can do this safely, either seated or lying down, as it might help you with the relaxation response within your body. Perhaps opening the eyes again and just rolling them up towards the ceiling for a moment. And circle them to the right and down towards the floor, still holding your head in the same position as you now look down. Center the gaze again and roll it back up towards the ceiling. Now rolling the eyes to the other side and all the way back down to look towards the floor. Then center the gaze again and softly close the eyes. These eye movements very much also aligned with your hand gesture, assisting. As you might now release the hand gesture, as well as your seated position. And come and join me in a standing position at the short front edge of the mat. You might take a breath in to raise the arms even out to the sides if your shoulders allow, maybe lifting them up over the head. You could draw the hands down the midline, or if it suits your body, keep them out wide, bend the knees and fold forward down. On the in-breath now, lengthening the spine forward in a half lift position. And on the out-breath, stepping your right foot down the mat. You might lower the knee down onto the ground or keep it off the floor and step the other foot back, landing in a plank position. So the hips now ideally aligning with the shoulders, the knees on the ground or the heels on the back. With your elbows by the sides, take a breath out to slowly lower down onto the front of the body, perhaps resting the forehead down onto the mat. A breath in as you extend your arms out, and an exhale to bring them gently behind your back. You could choose to interlace the hands here, lengthening the arms down, lengthening down towards the toes. An option to lift as much as is available. This could include the legs and the arms. Maybe you prefer your feet to be grounded, your arms to relax onto the back. Taking a deep, full breath. And on the out breath, surrender down towards the floor. You might take a breath to circle your arms back out, and you might bring them down underneath the shoulders as you exhale. On the inhale, pushing the floor away, rising to hands and knees. And on the out breath, rounding the spine so the buttocks might sink towards the heels. Then the child's pose. And inhale to return onto the hands and the knees. Perhaps you stay here, or you might tuck the toes under, lift the knees and roll the spine up, downward dog. Walking or stepping the feet towards the front end of the mat. And a half lift as you breathe in. And out breath to fold back down. Take time to uncurl the spine as you next exhale. And perhaps opening the arms back up like the sun as you breathe in to raise them. Same option, hands down the midline or arms wide but knees bend as you exhale to fold back forward and down. The inhale for a half lift. The exhale to step the left foot down the mat. Option knee on or off the mat. And the second leg coming back to complete a full on kneeling plank. Maybe here a good idea to connect to the solar plexus energy. And as you breathe out, lower back down onto the front of the body, resting perhaps the forehead down. The inhale to circle your arms out and perhaps bringing the hands behind the back. Now, if you're interlacing, perhaps changing the fingers on top. Same here, body is long, arms long down the back, and a choice what to lift. Perhaps it's the head and the chest, maybe the arms, perhaps the legs as well. Finding a variation here of Shalabhasana, the locust. On the out breath, release back down. On the inhale, circle the arms out. And as you're next exhaling, planting the hands back underneath your shoulders. The in-breath, 2 or 4. Around its spine, the buttocks towards the heels, extended child's pose on the exhale. The choice to rise to all fours on the inhale to stay, or breathe out to downward dog. Walking or stepping the feet to the front side end of your mat. A half lift on your in-breath, a forward bend on the out-breath. Waiting for the exhale to uncurl the spine. Arms might open up as you take a breath in and returning them by the sides, breathing out. Landing in your mountain pose. Arms might be looking forward, inner heels active, crown to the ceiling. Your eyes might be low, the gaze, or even closed. Connecting to the solar plexus energy, and maybe even sneaking the mudra in by folding the ring finger in, placing the thumb on top. Perhaps you can sense into the radiance that you created with focus, and movement, and breath. You may even keep the mudra in your hands if that is your choice, and turn towards the long side edge of the mat, stepping your feet out a bit wider, and there's an option to turn the toes out as well. Your arms might open out wide on a breath in, bending the right knee as you reach with your left hand towards it. The other arm could come right beside you. And then push into the floor and reopen to standing arms out wide, perhaps shoulder height, inhale. Then bend the left knee, the other arm might right behind as you reach with the opposite hand towards the knee. So on the inhale, pushing the floor away and opening your arms. On the exhale, repeat opposite hand to the knee, other arm might right behind. A breath in to stand and open, and out to touch. Let's repeat that once more to each side, breathing in and out. In and out. As you open up again, breathe in, and then let your arms come to gently rest, perhaps also releasing the hand gesture. Turning your left toes to the short side edge of the mat. The right side toes a little bit to that side as well, so that the heel of that foot turns to the other short edge. You might lean slightly down towards the leg by touching the palms of the hands on the inside of the leg. The spine here is long. And on the breath in, could you slide your right hand all the way up towards the ceiling or into the side of the waist, opening the body for Trikonasana, triangle pose. The back of the lower hand engaging against the leg lightly into the back of the hand. The chest open and finding a steady gazing point. Perhaps there's a sense of length coming through the abdomen, the chest. The sense of strength radiating from this place. And inhale, and as you exhale, rolling your upper arm and shoulder back in. So that the palms might touch again. You could then release the hands to the top of the thigh, take the back foot and step it out so it's about hip distance and almost facing towards that left side as well, a deeper angle. You might keep that halfway leaning forward and place your right hand to the outside of the front leg and the left hand into the side of the waist. A good place to stay here and practice, Pressing the ball of the front foot into the ground. An option to take a breath in and roll the left shoulder back for a revolved triangular shape. Please take a note that you're standing on both of your feet. That twist might even stimulate the solar plexus energy. And only if your breath is smooth could you extend your left arm towards the ceiling. Notice if that's a burden. And if it is, perhaps bring the hand back into the side. Release the hand into the side if the arm is extended. And a breath in to bend into the front knee, just to lift ourselves back up to stand. Relax the arms and turn back to the long side edge of the mat, the toes opening out. Arms might be relaxed by the sides. And a breath in to open your arms out wide. You might now leave the leg straight or bend the knee as you return the opposite hand in the direction of the knee. Arms might be long to or up behind. As you breathe in, stand back up tall, opening your arms. On the out breath, repeat the movement to the other side. Only an option to have the legs straight, so the in-breath, arms wide, standing tall. Out breath to twist and reach towards the knee. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, twisting. So keep it flowing, just a couple more, one to each side. Breath in, breath out. Inhaling, open, and exhaling, turn. Now, as you open up one more time, take a deep breath and release your arms softly. Turning the right toes to the short side edge of the mat. The left toes turn a little bit as well, so the heel is pointing in the other direction. You might lean in and forward towards the right foot, touching the palms of the hands on the inside of the leg, finding length in your spine here. Your next option is a breath, where you might slide your left arm all the way up, and it is an open triangle here, as you could place the hand also into the side of the waist if the arm extension feels challenging. The back of the hand against the front leg, and the leg against the back of the hand. A sense of length through the front body. Perhaps a subtle focus on the solar plexus area. The inner strength that we use for Trikonasana. As you take your next breath, bend the front knee, let your upper arm and shoulder release down. Hands might come to touch, or you might place them onto the front side. Taking the back foot, placing it out towards the side, so almost the toes are looking to the short edge as well. Hip distance apart, and we're still keeping the spine lengthening forward. Your right hand might come into the side of the waist, and the back of the left against the outside of the front leg. It might be very sufficient to just press the ball of the foot into the ground and maintain this length. If you like, you could turn your right shoulder back and come into the revolved version. Aware, however, that you maintain a stance on both of your feet. And only an option is to extend the upper arm toward the ceiling. Notice if that is quite a heavy load or feels gentle enough to support you. Let's bend into the front knee again, lifting yourself up as you breathe in. And once more, turn open the toes to the long side edge of the mat. Or breath in, perhaps the arms reaching out and up. And you could bend the knees as you descend, the arms coming down, the hands coming all the way down towards the floor. Or perhaps landing your knees down onto the ground. Landing on all fours. Toes might be tucked under. Let's take a breath. And on the exhale, find a deeply rounded cat position. The inhale for a neutral spine or a back bend by lifting tail and gaze. And the out breath to round again. Taking just 3 more breaths for Vidalasana or cat and cow. From where you might sink your buttocks towards the heels, slide the hands next to the knees, raise the knees, and come into a slight, soft, standing forward bend. The out breath now to uncurl the spine, rising to stand. The in breath, perhaps another sun around you. The out breath to circle your arms back down. Now finding a tall standing position. Raising the right heel and opening the knee out to the side. You can have a supportive tree, the heel resting to the ankle or the foot. You might lift the foot up against the lower or even help it to your upper leg. No matter your choice, rise up in your standing leg, growing right towards the ceiling. Your arms might stay by the sides, an option for Surya Mudra in your hands. Bring finger to the palm, thumb on top. Vrikshasana, the tree pose. You may keep it as it is, or you might choose for 3 breaths to open the arms out and up and bring them back along the sides. If you need a challenge, follow the gaze, lift it up and bring it back out in front. When you completed, your arms are descending, land the foot down as well. Keep steadiness if available. Raising the left heel as you repeat the tree to the other side. Perhaps there's a different choice. Perhaps the foot comes high, perhaps it stays low. Stay here, work into the standing leg to lift out of the hip and grow tall. Three breaths with sun arm movement or slight modification. Same challenge might be to change your gaze. And the arms released back by the sides, also land the foot. Maintain steadiness if it's there for you. Gently releasing the hand gesture if you were holding it. A breath in and a breath out to gently bend the knees and start returning towards the floor. This time, to come into a seated position, I will use a blanket folded up as a support to sit upon, perhaps extending your legs out in front. You might choose to keep the legs long or bend the knees. You could support yourself with the fingertips resting just out by the sides onto the ground. The toes actively turn towards the ceiling, pressing the fingertips into the floor to sit even taller. Taking a deep breath in. And on the out breath, either lean or sway the body forward. Perhaps your belly lands on the thighs. Maybe you can relax the hands down somewhere, or even hold onto the legs where it is in reach. The head might lower, but rather than dropping the head and extending through the back of the neck, perhaps keeping the neck long and reaching the crown of the head in the direction of your toes. Now, mindful how this feels in your back. If you need support, keep the knees bent. We will all keep the toes turned upwards and perhaps the shoulders in their sockets, but some might choose to extend the legs out longer. You might have a chance here to surrender into stillness. A stillness where you could lengthen the out breath to help with the relaxation response in the body. Acknowledging anything else that keeps you from releasing and surrendering to this shape, such as emotions arising, thoughts. Taking a breath in to lift halfway out of the form, and a breath out to then come to sit with support. You might remove the support from underneath you, place it back down if it was a blanket as a cushion. Take your block and place that by the side of the mat so it remains within reach. Before you lie down, you might choose to place socks by the sides, the blanket to cover yourself or whatever else you might need for relaxation. And then very slowly descending down onto the floor. You could place the feet down onto the ground, release the arms along the sides, and then take a breath to tilt the pelvis, and a breath out to raise the hips up for a bridge. The arms are here as supported as they were when we were sliding the leg out long. The palms touching down, arms, shoulders grounded. And you could choose to hold this bridge for a few more breaths, floating as it is. Or you might choose to take the block halfway up flat and place the sacrum upon it. If you choose a supported version of bridge, you could also relax your arms. If you are supporting the bridge, you might also choose to extend your legs. Mindful here around lower back, hip flexor area, modifications are welcome. One-legged position is welcome. If you're one-legged and can change sides, please do. Legs are extended, placing the feet back down onto the ground. If your arms are relaxed, bring them back in position, palms touching down, activating through the palms, the arms, the shoulders. And the breath in to lift the hips back up. Removing support and slowly rolling the spine back down onto the ground. You could set the feet in just a tad bit closer towards you before perhaps bringing your knees up. You might open the knees out, bring the arms, to the inside of the knees, and perhaps take a hold of the outer edges of the feet. If this feels a bit much, it is very comforting to take the arms outside, but then hold onto the backs of the thighs instead. So either version of a happy baby. Ideally, the soles of the feet will be looking upwards, and you might encourage by drawing on the backs of the thighs or your feet, the knees down towards the floor on either side of your body. If you like to finish that with a light rocking movement, you could rock gently from side to side. Ananda Balasana, the happy baby. To release, then bring the feet back together, the knees towards the chest, and then the feet onto the ground. Take a little pause, focusing back onto the solar plexus by taking a deeper breath towards your abdomen. And using the exhalation, maybe even with a sigh, to soften towards the ground. You could now choose to bring bolsters underneath, or keep the knees bent as you approach Shavasana or relaxation pose. As you come to lie down onto the floor, allow every last little movement that you really need to occur before you choose to settle the body into stillness. If anything becomes uncomfortable during this stillness, feel free to adjust it. If you enjoyed this mudra, you might bring the ring finger back into the palm of each hand, touch the thumb on top, and come back into Surya mudra. The arms might be restful, the backs of the hands down in that case. As usual, when practicing mudras during this relaxation, they might drift away from you. It is the initial intention that might make a difference. And if your hands get uncomfortable, simply relax. With the body still, you might notice sensations arising from your hands, so your mudra. You might notice where the breath is flowing to. that so gently moves in and out of the nose. Perhaps it is entering Manipura, solar plexus area. The radiance, the energy that comes from there. You might even start to visualize a golden sun right there in that center. Infusing you with a sense of fire, the element of fire, its essential qualities, qualities of the golden sun. This light and warmth, the golden rays, bathing your digestive system and enhancing the power of transformation. Nourishing your being with vital energy. Light of your inner sun, illuminating your vision, allowing you to see your life purpose more clearly. The help of the golden rays, envision the unfolding of all your possibilities, and naturally receiving determination to overcome the obstacles that might lie on the way. The rays of your inner sun grow in intensity, burning away the clouds of doubt and lethargy, allowing you to manifest your vision completely. You might silently repeat, awakening my inner sun's radiant energy, I live with abundant vitality. Awakening my inner sun's radiant energy, I live with abundant vitality. Awakening my inner sun's radiant energy, I live with abundant vitality. You might choose to relax the hand gesture. Keep that golden light within and around in your energy field. Perhaps still seeing your inner sun as you deepen the breath. Even more vitality, life force enters the body. You could choose to have a few sighs to release. And eventually you might come to join me in your own way, maybe rolling to the side or over the front of the body in a seated position. As you come to sit, your hands might touch, this time in front of the heart space. You might even feel the sun shining from the solar plexus right up to the heart and out into the space. As we connect from this energy with a light bow toward each other. Namaste.